Could a street dog, once just a shadow, really be the one to unlock the deepest lessons of love and forgiveness in a hardened town? This video reveals the incredible journey of a resilient stray whose gentle spirit and unwavering loyalty slowly chipped away at years of skepticism. You won't believe how one animal taught an entire community to embrace the boundless power of a forgiving heart. Stay with me, because this story will change the way you think about second chances, loyalty, and what it truly means to love unconditionally. Our story begins in a town that had forgotten how to trust. Millbrook wasn't always this way. Once a thriving community, years of economic hardship had left its mark, not just on the buildings, but on the hearts of its people. Neighbors who once greeted each other warmly now passed by with guarded eyes. Trust had become a luxury no one could afford, and in the shadows of this skeptical town lived a dog. No one knew where he came from, no collar, no name, just scars, visible reminders of a past filled with neglect and pain. His coat was patchy, his ribs showed through thin fur, and one ear bore the mark of an old wound that had never quite healed right. The townspeople called him Ghost, not out of affection, but because he was everywhere and nowhere, a spectre that haunted the edges of their daily lives. He'd appear near the bakery at dawn, outside the school at dismissal, by the town square when darkness fell. Always watching, always alone. Most people ignored him, some shooed him away. A few even threw stones, convinced that strays brought nothing but trouble. After all, in a town that had been let down so many times, why would anyone believe a scarred, forgotten dog could offer anything but more disappointment? But here's what they didn't know yet. Sometimes the most broken souls carry the purest hearts. And sometimes redemption doesn't announce itself with fanfare. It arrives quietly, on four paws, and waits patiently for even the smallest opening. It started with Emma, a 7-year-old girl with thick glasses and a backpack too big for her small frame. Emma was what teachers called shy, but what she really was lonely. New to Millbrook after her parents' difficult divorce, she ate lunch alone every day, her head buried in books about faraway places. One afternoon, as autumn leaves scattered across the sidewalk, Emma dropped her lunchbox. An apple rolled toward the gutter, and before she could reach it, Ghost appeared. Not to take it, but to stop it gently with his paw, then look up at her with eyes that seemed to understand exactly how she felt. Emma froze. She'd been warned about the stray dog, but something in his gaze told a different story. Slowly, she reached for the apple. Ghost didn't move. She held it out tentatively, and he took it with a gentleness that surprised her, his tail offering the faintest wag. That day marked the beginning of an unlikely friendship. Emma started saving part of her lunch for Ghost. At first, she'd leave it at the corner and walk away, glancing back to watch him eat. Then she stayed a little longer. Then she started talking to him, sharing secrets she couldn't tell anyone else. "I miss my dad," she'd whisper, and Ghost would sit perfectly still, his presence a comfort words couldn't provide. "Everyone here thinks I'm weird," she'd confess, and he'd lean against her leg, solid and warm and accepting. Emma's mother, Sarah, noticed the change immediately. Her daughter was smiling again, talking about her day, rushing home to grab leftovers for a friend. When Sarah discovered that friend was Ghost, her first instinct was fear. This was the dog everyone warned about, the unpredictable stray, the symbol of everything neglected and potentially dangerous. But when she finally saw them together, sitting on the library steps in comfortable silence, Emma reading aloud while Ghost listened with rapt attention, something shifted in Sarah's heart. She saw not danger, but devotion, not a threat, but a guardian. And that's when Sarah made a decision that would change everything. Sarah started leaving food out for Ghost regularly. She took him to the vet, paying out of pocket to treat his wounds and get him vaccinated. The veterinarian, Dr. Chen, initially hesitated, assuming this would be another stray who'd disappear as soon as he was healthy. But something about Ghost was different. As Dr. Chen examined him, noting the old fractures that had healed incorrectly, the signs of prolonged starvation, the evidence of abuse, Ghost remained perfectly calm. His eyes showed no aggression, only a quiet dignity and perhaps hope. "This dog," Dr. Chen said, amazed, "has been through hell, but there's no bitterness in him. I've treated hundreds of animals, and I've never seen this kind of resilience paired with such gentleness." Word began to spread. The town busybody, Mrs. Patterson, who had been Ghost's loudest critic, witnessed him gently guide her elderly neighbor away from stepping into traffic. The hardware store owner, a man who'd lost everything in the recession and trusted no one, found Ghost waiting outside his shop every morning, tail wagging as if checking to make sure he was okay. One by one, Ghost was doing something remarkable. He was teaching this hardened community to trust again, one small act of loyalty at a time. He never asked for anything in return. He never demanded attention. He simply showed up day after day, offering companionship to whoever needed it most. The teenagers who'd once thrown stones started saving their lunch money to buy him treats. The postal worker who'd kicked at him now carried dog biscuits in her bag. Even the town council, who discussed capturing and removing all strays, found themselves reconsidering as they watched Ghost become woven into the fabric of daily life. But perhaps the most profound change happened in a man named Thomas, a veteran who'd returned from service unable to connect with anyone, drowning in memories he couldn't share and pain he couldn't express. Thomas had built walls so high that even his own family couldn't reach him anymore. Then one night, sitting alone on a park bench contemplating his darkest thoughts, Ghost appeared. Without invitation, without permission, he simply laid his head on Thomas's lap and stayed there. For hours, they sat together in the darkness, two scarred souls finding solace in shared silence. Thomas later said it was the first time in years he felt truly seen, not judged, not pitied, just understood. And from that night forward, Thomas and Ghost became inseparable, two wounded warriors helping each other heal. So what did Ghost teach this skeptical town? What profound lesson did a scarred stray dog, abandoned and forgotten, have to offer? First, Ghost taught them that our past doesn't define our capacity to love. Despite every reason to be bitter, aggressive or afraid, Ghost chose trust. He chose connection. He chose to keep his heart open even after it had been broken. Second, he taught them that loyalty isn't earned through perfection, but through presence. Ghost wasn't a purebred show dog. He wasn't trained or polished. He was simply there, consistently, faithfully, without expectation of reward. And that consistency, that unwavering presence, created bonds deeper than any pedigree ever could. Third, and perhaps most importantly, Ghost taught Millbrook about forgiveness. True forgiveness. Not the kind that requires apologies or explanations, but the kind that simply releases the past and chooses to move forward. Every person who'd once shunned him, every hand that had pushed him away, was forgiven in Ghost's next gentle approach, his next hopeful glance, his next offer of companionship. The town began to transform. Not overnight, not dramatically, but steadily. Neighbors started talking again. The community garden, abandoned for years, was revived. People who'd isolated themselves began to re-engage. And at the center of it all was Ghost, now healthy and loved, wearing a collar that read Ghost Millbrook's Heart, given to him by a unanimous town council vote. Sarah officially adopted him, but Ghost belonged to everyone. He still made his rounds, checking on his people, offering comfort where needed, spreading joy with his gentle presence. Emma, no longer lonely, started a junior volunteer program at the animal shelter, inspired by her friend's story. Thomas began speaking to veterans groups about healing and connection, Ghost always by his side as a living testament to resilience and second chances. The transformation was complete, but it wasn't really about Ghost changing the town. It was about Ghost reminding them of who they'd always been beneath the layers of hurt and skepticism. He didn't bring them something new. He helped them remember something essential, that love, loyalty, and forgiveness aren't weaknesses. They're the strongest forces we possess. Ghost's story reminds us that second chances aren't just for the broken. They're for the ones who forgot they were capable of healing. That unconditional love doesn't mean perfect love, it means persistent love. The kind that shows up even when it's not convenient, even when it's not appreciated, even when it's not returned. In a world that often values what's new and unblemished, Ghost taught an entire town to see beauty in scars, strength in vulnerability, and wisdom in the most unexpected places. The next time you pass a stray, a forgotten soul, someone or something others have given up on, remember Ghost. Remember that sometimes the greatest teachers come on 4 legs, with patchy fur and a heart bigger than any hurt they've endured. Because in the end, Ghost didn't need saving, Millbrook did. And a scarred, gentle stray dog showed them the way home. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs a reminder that second chances can change everything. Like this video and subscribe to the channel.